Zach, do they put the loss in Los Angeles night on this one?
Yes, they do. I think they do. I see what you did there. No, this is.
Thank you.
This is.
What is going on, good people? Welcome into the Takedown on SI YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino, SP3, Zack Heydorn with you guys as we get ready to break down WWE Backlash this Saturday in St. Louis. John Cena, Randy Orton in the main event for the WWE Championship. We got 3 other title matches on this card, and we have what should be the sacrificing of ESPN's most popular host. We'll get to all of that coming into the show tonight with SP3, my man, who is now WWE canon. How are we doing?
I am doing well. Being called Mr. Sports Illustrated by a couple of wrestling fans, but I won't take that and trademark it because I don't want to get sued. But I will accept that.
We can call you Mr. Takedown on SI. That's what we can do.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll do that. Zach, what's going on, sir?
Oh, little of this, little of that. I don't know that I'm worthy to be on the show with SP3 after the big mention yesterday. It's like, geez, Louise, boy, I gotta step up my game.
I think we all do. I think we all aspire to achieve the level of notoriety that SP3 has in his career. So we all got to look up to people in life, and we here at the Takedown look up to.
We do.
To SP3. All right, let's not waste any time. We got it. Like I said, we have a 5-match card. We're coming out of WrestleMania season, which means we're back down to the Triple H special. And this man has a format, and this man sticks to it. Thought maybe he'd add Jey Uso and Logan Paul to it, and then Jey Uso and Logan Paul to this card. And then they completely threw us for the loop with the world title match that we got on Monday. So obviously Logan doesn't want to go to St. Louis. I don't know, but maybe we'll figure it out. That match is coming after Logan gave him the loaded right after Raw went off the air. If you missed it, you can check out the Takedown on SI.com. We got that covered for you there. But let's start off here. We got Gunther, the man who lost to Jey Uso at WrestleMania 41 after he tapped out. And now he is coming to what should be a straight up murder of Pat McAfee. I'm saying that loosely, like don't actually kill the man, but look, I'll say this much, SP3. The build to this has been very well done, from the Raw after Mania attack on Michael Cole, and then subsequently Pat McAfee, Pat coming to his aid. Pat, whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether you're sick of him, whatever. The man cuts a hell of a promo. He knows how to tell a story for a 3-week build, and we have seen some bad ones. This is one of the good ones, and it's got me excited to see this. But that said, boy, Gunther should destroy this man on Saturday, should he not?
Yeah, this should be a very one-sided affair. I wouldn't mind if Pat gets a couple of comeback and hope spots in the middle, but just have Gunther absolutely murder him. And like he said, it should take God to take his arms off of the throat of Pat McAfee. And I am one person, I've gone on record, so I'll go on record here and say I think that Pat McAfee is objectively one of the worst wrestling commentators in modern history. Not just right now, just in modern history. I don't think he's good. I don't think he adds any value as a color commentator. All of that to say, he is great at the pro wrestling promo and building up a matchup part of it. So maybe he should just do that and just stay off of the headset. I mean, honestly, he's hit it out the park. Every segment that they've done over the last 3 weeks has been an instant hit. It's been great work. His promo work the last 2 weeks has been absolutely splendid. And Gunther's response in the promo exchange they had on Monday's Raw was fantastic. So they've done a great job of building this matchup. This patch probably has the best build of any match on this card, but obviously Gunther has to win.
Yeah, and Zach, I like the story and that they've told with Pat and his loyalty for Michael Cole, who Pat believes he owes his entire career in WWE to Michael Cole. So I think it's nice to get Pat involved in this way. It makes sense from a storyline standpoint. But yeah, after you've had Gunther lose back-to-back WrestleMania matches, back-to-back title matches, in basically the same fashion with the same story, just insert Jey Uso this year around instead of Sami Zayn, and this time it was for the world title, not the IC title. They need to start feeding this man a lot of wins. And it's interesting because he has been a champion for roughly 80% of his WWE career thus far. I mean, if they're going to tell stories like this, I don't mind him not having a title at the moment. He should get it back shortly, but I don't mind it right now.
I don't mind it either. I mean, in theory, I don't mind it. You know, it depends on how it's built, you know, and I think what the best part of this build is that it's not like completely ridiculous. Like when WWE positions its announcers or its celebrities and they put them on the same pedestal as some of these wrestlers, that's when I look at it and I'm like, oh, come on, like this is an announcer here and this is Gunther. But they've accounted for that. They've accounted for that in the story, which is, yeah, I'm Pat McAfee, and yeah, maybe I am a little bit stupid for doing this, but you know what? Michael Cole's my friend, and that's what friends do, and that's what I do, and I'm a loyal guy. So let's go, Gunther, whatever. So I think that they've worked to get this storyline into a position where it's acceptable and not a match where you just need to completely disregard all sense of reality in order to enjoy. And that's what I've liked about this most. McAfee's brought it on the mic. Gunther brought it last night, Monday Night Raw, on the mic. They've got this exactly where it needs to be and as far as it can go. Like if McAfee's out there doing any more than this, then I think it's unbelievable. But right now, they're walked up to that line, and now they do the match, and Gunther dominates, and Gunther wins. Like, that's how this ends. But as far as, like, getting to the match in 3 weeks, like, thumbs way up. And, you know, I think this will be a showcase for Gunther, and that's exactly what it should be.
Yeah, this should be hands down. Like, the way that Gunther dominated Jimmy Uso in the ring ahead of WrestleMania, that's pretty much what I want this match to be. Like, I want this man to be draped in Pat McAfee's blood by the end of it, and just show us that visual. They tapped into something with Gunther and showed his true, like, ruthless potential right ahead of WrestleMania, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna lose, which is why on the WrestleMania prediction show, I'm like, keep this man, belt this man, keep this man with the title because you've got something here. They still have something with him, so I think Gunther is going to win hands down. This one was added on Monday. Dirty Dom will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Penta. They are running this one back from the Raw after Mania. A lot of different people have been getting involved in this one. SP3. Too early to take the title off of Dom at this point, right?
I would hope so. I wouldn't be surprised if Penta did get the win, if they are going to try to push Penta, because I said it like a couple of weeks ago, and I gotta reiterate it here. WWE has just made Penta another guy. I think it's slowly starting to set in with everybody. I kind of got tipped. I smelled like it at WrestleMania when he was the fifth most important guy in a fatal four-way, because yes, Carlito was involved in a bigger spot in the matchup that he was in than he was in. If you had told me that Penta wasn't in that four-way, I would have believed you, because he really did nothing of note in that matchup. If you really think about it, it was a great matchup, but was it because Penta was in it? But yeah, they've kind of just made him another guy on the roster with a cool entrance. He's great in the ring, and I think that they could be getting a whole lot more from him, but I don't believe they're going to do anything with him until he reunites with Rey Fenix and we get the Lucha Bros taking over the Raw Tag Team division. Dominic Mysterio was one of the most over people in Las Vegas. He deserves to keep the Intercontinental Championship. They have the story to follow up with that, with his ongoing drama with Finn Balor and the challenge made by AJ Styles coming out of Backlash. So it just makes sense to keep the title on Dom.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Dom on this one, which, unfortunately, because I tend to agree with you, SP3. Like, Penta came in and had all the fanfare, and they were booking him very well out of the gate. And then, like, there's all this hype behind him, and then it's just slowly trickled down, week after week. And he's now firmly just the guy on the roster. Unfortunately, maybe that'll change once he and Rey Fenix do reunite. Maybe they'll fire him up. Maybe they decide to change the put the title on him here or something. I feel like they're kind of in a no-win situation with Penta in this match, because it's either they give him the IC title and they just blow up any momentum that Dominic had, or they have him lose again, which is kind of like, I'm like, do we really need this match on this card? But I'm taking Dom to get the win. Dirty tactics, so they'll protect Penta a little bit, but Dom's winning. What do you say, Zach?
Dom's winning. Dom is winning this, and I'm with you guys on Penta. It's kind of unfortunate because he hit the main roster and hit WWE with some fanfare, and you thought, okay, maybe he'd be in a little bit of a better position, but I think. Yeah, he's firmly right in the middle of the lane of traffic. That is the WWE mid card, and he's got to work his way out of that. But he won't be doing that here. I don't think this is about Dom. This is about Dom. I think this is about the Dom storyline with Finn and Judgment Day, and they still have clearly the AJ Styles against Dominic Mysterio match that they want to do. So you got to give Dom this win, and whatever you do with AJ after that is what you do. But Dom wins this.
We got the men's United States Championship match, and suddenly I have Bohemian Rhapsody stuck in my head based off of how they've set up this this match graphic. But anyway, we got Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, LA Knight. Jacob Fatu has said, line them all up. He's going to dog walk all their asses. SP3. Is that what's going to happen this Saturday?
This is an actual match that I can get excited for. Like I said, I think that Gunther and Pat have had the best build, but that match should be a squash. This is a matchup that I'm looking forward to, and it's not really because of the build, it's because of the people involved. I thought that Drew and Damian Priest exceeded expectations and had a really fun Sin City street fight. And outside of the main event of night one, I thought LA Knight and Jacob Fatu had the best match on night one of WrestleMania. So you're basically putting those two matches in one match here, and the multi-man matches, despite all the complaints we heard from fans, they were the best matches during WrestleMania weekend, was all the multi-man matches. So them running back another multi-man here at Backlash, I think is again going to be the best match on this show. So this would be a lot of fun. But yes, Jacob Fatu needs to keep this United States Championship.
Who does he beat? That's my question in this one. Does he pin LA? Does it feel like LA Knight's taking the L here again?
Yeah, because they can follow it up, and they can do a Damian Priest and Jacob Fatu rivalry, and it seems like they were kind of teasing that with the interaction that they had backstage on SmackDown this past week. So they can do that as the next feud for Jacob Fatu, but to kind of clear LA Knight out of this and maybe move him on to something else. Maybe you do a Drew McIntyre LA Knight rivalry, since they had the real life beef, if whether we know or not. Maybe you could play off of that still, so you can move him on but have him take the pin here.
What do you think, Zach? Do they put the loss in Los Angeles Night on this one?
Yes, they do. I think they do. I see what you did there. No, this is
thank you everybody.
This is I can't wait for this match. These guys hit hard, all of them. And so I fully expect them to be tagging each other left and right with fun stuff. I think I'm not generally a fan of fatal four-way matches, just because, I don't know, it just seems like it's a strategy of we don't have singles match, so let's just cram a bunch of people in here and and then it's better because there's 4 people. And rarely does it come off that way. But I think these guys are all in similar positions on SmackDown. They're all in similar roles on the show, and they're all really good workers. And so, not really good, but I think they all have parts of their game that can, be cohesive with one another. So I'm excited about this. But yeah, Jacob Fatu is winning, and I think he is beating LA Knight, because you don't want, Jacob and Drew is still a match that you want to have down the road, and Jacob and Damian is still the match that you want to have down the road, singles match. So you don't just throw that away in a random fatal four-way like this. So Jacob wins, and sorry, LA Knight, but it sucks for you.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I'm taking Jacob to win by pinning LA Knight in this one. This is the match that, again, I'm biased, but this is the one I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. It is Lyra Valkyria defending her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. This build has, again, we want to talk about Pat McAfee and Gunther, a great 3-week build. I think this one's been as good, honestly, in my opinion. It was kind of a whirlwind that first weekend when Becky came around and they won the titles just to drop the titles. But the promo exchanges between Becky and Lyra, I think, have been spectacular. I think Lyra has even gotten the better of Becky a couple of times. And it's like, this was a huge test for her, SP3, to go up against, as Becky announced to the world, our greatest with female WWE superstar of all time in the list that we put together, the piece that you wrote up. This was a real sink or swim moment for her, and she is bringing her A game in this feud thus far. And it feels like they're just getting started, which to me feels like Becky Lynch is walking away with the Intercontinental Championship this weekend, unless, like, here's the caveat, unless Bayley comes back this weekend. Becky's talking a lot of trash, literally, about Bayley. It almost seems like they're leaning heavy to make you think that Bayley might be coming back this weekend, but it may be too soon. It's only been a couple of weeks since she was injured backstage. So I feel like you can continue this either way, whoever wins. I feel like Becky is going to win this one. What do you think, though?
Well, I have to make the official announcement that, yes, Becky Lynch is now my favorite WWE superstar. I have no other choice but to make her my favorite WWE superstar. She forced my hand by mentioning my work on social on Monday Night Raw. So now
I was going to say live TV. Damn,
now
live TV. She did it on the Raw recap with Sam Roberts.
Yeah, now I'm a part of WWE storylines. Look at this already, man. So I appreciate her for that. So now she's my favorite WWE superstar. So I can't choose against her. I will say though, my only criticism involving this rivalry is nothing to do with both ladies. I think that both ladies have delivered strong work throughout. I just feel that Triple H made the wrong decision in not really establishing this relationship between the two, so it meant more when Becky turned on her. I think rushing it and doing it as whirlwind, as you said, with them winning the tag team titles, then losing them, then Becky turning immediately after that, it feels like for a third straight time WWE has put Becky Lynch behind the 8 ball with a heel turn. First time was in 2018, which made her a bigger babyface. Second time was in 2021 when she's the most beloved women's wrestler in the world, and it took her 6 months to eventually get heat. And now this time it's with them completely rushing the whole storyline and not even letting the fans absorb that this is a mentor versus protege, student versus teacher rivalry. And I think that they have worked around that and really exceeded expectation. And I thought this past Monday was their strongest work together. Becky Lynch is putting on a masterclass, not for the entire roster, but most specifically for her husband that doesn't seem to want to change anything about himself from when he was a babyface to when he's being a heel. He wants to cut the same promos. He wants to wrestle the same. He refuses to get any heat, while Becky Lynch has completely changed the way she does promos, where she has this grating, erratic voice, and she makes you want to see someone beat her and shut her up. It's been great to see her really excelling in this heel role. So I understand why she wanted to be in this heel role. I don't understand why Triple H didn't let us absorb the relationship and do it in this way, but I like the work that they have worked around the fact that WWE put them behind the 8 ball and they've been putting out good work. I feel like Lyra's work, I don't think that she's gotten the better of Becky. I think Becky's been the better character and the better promo because she's more used to this role. Sure. I think that Lyra has worked really hard to kind of stand toe to toe with Becky, and especially this past week, I thought that was her best promo that she's done. A lot of her stuff seems very much like it's written down for her, but she's delivering it pretty well. So I like the work that they have done together, and they built that chemistry. But no doubt it's Becky Lynch, new champion, because it means more for Becky and Bayley to do a feud with the Women's Intercontinental Championship involved, because that's going to elevate the title. They've already done non-title feuds in the past, especially the past one when Bayley was the leader of Damage Control against a babyface Becky, but Becky being the heel against a babyface Bayley, with Bayley chasing the title, and then you also have Lyra chasing the title. It's elevating the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, so that should be the goal of everything here. Becky, new champ.
Yeah, this is kind of like a newer version of what, Becky did with Bianca back in 2021, right? She's going to come in, she's going to win the championship, and eventually down the line, she'll put Lyra over even bigger at the end and make her a bigger star. It's the not necessarily the same play, but it's in the same playbook, right? So that's the goal here. And yeah, I do agree with you about rushing it, right? Like I understand what you're saying, and I did not like the fact that they put the titles right back on Liv and Raquel, especially when Liv the next week said, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm gone for a month. See ya, bye." I'm just like,
yeah,
what the? But then a week after that, not even a week after that, there's not even a damn tag team division left. So anyway, they got some time. They got some time to work on that, I guess. But yeah, what do you think, Zach? Do you think we get Bayley back this week? Do you think Lyra gets the better of Becky again? I definitely see this continuing after this, obviously. But where are you leaning right now?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna go with Lyra here. I'm gonna go with Lyra, and I think that this whole thing is done to make Lyra Valkyria. I mean, Bayley is a part of it, yes, but she's a piece. I mean, she's a made talent. She's a WWE legend, almost like a nostalgia act at this point. She's been around for so long, still has a lot to give, but she's at a high level. Lyra's still on the way up, and so this is definitely a feud to get her over. To me, it's easier for Becky to either get slipped up or like a roll up of some kind where Lyra wins, but it's not necessarily like definitive, because I think you want Lyra to back up what she's saying right now. I think you want her, if she's this babyface who's spitting fire and talking about Becky, and then she loses. It's like, oh, okay, Lyra, you're kind of the person that we all kind of thought you were going into this. Like, I think she needs to step up. I think she needs to get the win and then have Becky chase her a little bit. I'm not saying this story ends with Lyra just going 3-0 against Becky Lynch, but I think you establish her as credible sooner than later. And I think that's important, just given how it's been a little rocky for Lyra. She's just now finding some rhythm. And I think you want to help that along with good booking and a good win against the top star right out of the gate. And then Becky can attack on Raw after or whatever to get back in and set up some kind of grudge match for the title down the road. But I think it's important to keep Lyra strong. And so I think she gets the victory here.
Yeah. I think I could see it going either way. I definitely do think we end up getting the, I taught you everything but not everything I know kind of finish here, where Becky does like the crafty veteran heelish type maneuver, whatever that may be, pulls a wool over her eyes, and tricks her and slips her up. You can still make Lyra look very strong in this matchup. You could have her out wrestle Becky, and she's got the skill to do it, right? You could have her out wrestle the entire match and still lose, right? So and then you can have Becky just walking around as the heelish champ, like, yeah, I got my ass kicked, but look, I'm still the women's Intercontinental champion. Yeah. I'm the greatest women's Intercontinental champion of all time. Whatever it is that she wants to do with that. So I could see it going either way. I think Becky is going to win. Like I said, if Lyra wins, I think it's going to be more about Bayley returning to maybe even the odds, provide a distraction, whatever it is. But I still think Lyra's going to look really, really good coming out of this weekend, whether she still has the title or not. And finally, for the final time ever, last time ever, whatever the promotion of this is, it is John Cena defending the WWE Championship against the Viper, Randy Orton. Never seen 17 against the 14-time world champion SP3. John Cena's winning. Okay, like John Cena is winning this match. The question is, can we get a good performance this time around? Can we get a good singles match between Randy Orton and John Cena? I think, watching it, being there, and Zach can probably attest to this, like being there in person, watching the main event. I don't know if it was the atmosphere or whatever it was. And of course, I'm talking about WrestleMania 41. I did not understand much of the backlash for that match, just being there in person and watching the spectacle of everything. Watching it back, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it now. So it's like, you know what? You know, John is where he is in his career. He's even said that he's limited at this point, which is why he's doing this whole retirement tour, and then he's done after this year. They put him in this position. Can he and Randy Orton go out and deliver a good show?
Okay, the positives, this crowd should be red hot for this. They should be rallying behind the hometown boy, Randy Orton, in this one. It should be a great atmosphere for this matchup, similar to the atmosphere that we got for the main event of WrestleMania 41. Randy Orton seems like he's motivated to put on a good performance, especially in front of his friends and family. So that should be good. It feels like John Cena is getting more used to his heel character, which it took some time to get used to it as far as like him on the mic and embracing kind of the new role that he's playing here. All of that to say, Randy Orton and John Cena have produced a total of 2 good matches throughout 4,700 times that they have faced each other. I don't think they're going to have one when they're 45 and 47 years old, respectively. John Cena wins. That's all I got to say.
Zach, give me some optimism here, man. What do you got here?
SP3 kind of took the words out of my mouth. The crowd is the reason to be optimistic here. I mean, truthfully, like I think if Randy Orton and John Cena approach this with the strategy of let the crowd be like a third man in this, which allows them to do less, they will be better off. I think you let the environment speak for itself out there. I think you have John Cena kick out of a couple RKOs out of nowhere. You know, you hit the attitude adjustment. Maybe you submit Orton. I don't know. But, I mean, you keep it simple. You keep it simple. You keep it short. I think if you do that, the crowd is going to make the match seem a lot better than it actually will be. But if you tire the crowd out and you go 20 minutes because you're John Cena and you're Randy Orton and you just feel like you want to go 20 minutes, then I think you're going to have problems. So I hope they can be introspective about this and just say, hey, let's put on a good 8-minute match rather than a boring 20-minute match. Because I think if they can keep it under 10, they can use all sorts of different bells and whistles, smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to do to make this passable. John Cena is winning this match, and I think everybody knows it. So it's going to take a lot to kind of create the drama that they would need in any other building. But this is St. Louis. It's Randy's backyard. They should just keep playing that card all damn night. But John Cena wins in the end.
I agree with you. Less needs to be more here. And I think, especially ahead of this matchup, the card positioning is so damn important. Like, you cannot put that men's fatal 4-way like on before John Cena and Randy Orton. Like, that has to either jerk the curtain or be second or something like that. I think maybe I open with Lyra Becky because the crowd will be hot for that one, or you open with the men's United States Championship. I'm putting Pat McAfee and Gunther ahead of this, especially if you book it the way that we feel like it should be, where it's just going to be like this, oh my God, stop it, he's dead already kind of a match. The crowd won't be as, they might be emotionally invested watching Pat McAfee bleed all over the canvas, but they won't be like fired up and out of their seats and everything like that. They can get that energy and rest it up for the main event. And I agree. 7-8 minutes. Hell, maybe you even do some, pre-bell ringing extracurricular activities, kind of like what they did with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Whichever was that WrestleMania 35 when they opened up the show. And you can then actually have the bell-to-bell stuff be like 4 minutes, something like that. Like, Randy Orton just had a really short match against Joe Hendry at WrestleMania, and it was hilarious, right? It was a fun matchup, okay?
Yes.
Maybe they do something similar like that, but I don't know.
I don't see this going any less than like 16, 18 minutes. I think the shortest match we will get is like 15 minutes. It's in the main event, guys. They don't do that outside of like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is the only one who gets like a 10-minute main event matchup, and that was back 2 years ago at Backlash that they did like the short matchup with him and Cody. I don't see this going any less than like 15 at the very least.
Does that include entrances?
No, I'm talking about bell to bell, 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna do.
That's ambitious. I don't know how Orton is losing this matchup. I feel like you have to have a definitive finish, right? But I
I
don't know. Boy, just don't have it be like a Travis Scott low blow type situation again. I mean, maybe John's whole move now is going to be, hey, I'm just going to kick you in the nuts and give you an AA, and it's going to be over. We'll see. It was a clean sweep across the board, except for the women's IC title match. Zach is the only one who made a different pick this week. He's going to be wrong, but he made a different pick this week. And Zach and I will be back on Friday for the takedown discussions. We're going to dive into the unfortunate WWE releases this week a little bit more. We have an interview that just dropped on Monday with Lyra Valkyria that Zach did, which is why Zach picked her, obviously, because she's now his favorite.
That's right.
That's available right now. You can check that out. SP3 has an interview that's going to be dropping Thursday, tomorrow, or Thursday, depending on when you're watching this video, with Dijak ahead of his MLW World Heavyweight Championship match against Matt Riddle. So we got a lot to check out here on the channel. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Enjoy wrestling this week, and we'll talk to you guys later.